Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good to see you again, or good to hear from you again. Um, this video is actually the lab on the reaction order and rate laws, right? So I already told you to do the pre-lab, so I'm assuming that you have that done. Um, we're going to do this as a demonstration. We're going to do it together so we have class data, right? We're just going to follow through the procedure just like it says. Right, so we're going to start with the procedure, which is on this page right here. All right, and I've already done a little bit of it. All right, so I've done number one, where we labeled the small beaker of HCl. I did number two, where I've labeled the Na2S2O3. I got some distilled water. All right, we have our white paper. All right, and instead of a spot plate, we're going to use these for our reaction. So this is going to be well number 1, 2, and 3. And then this is our X right here. All right, so kind of what we're going to do is we're going to do our reaction in here. We'll put all of our, we'll put the reactants in there. We'll start it, and eventually it'll get to the point where we can't see the X, and that's where we're going to stop it. All right, so we're going to vary the concentration of the hydrochloric acid first. Okay, so in the lab we need to fill this with the hydrochloric first. All right, and we're going to change the concentrations of the hydrochloric. All right, and you do the most dilute one first. All right, so in the well number 3, we need 1 milliliter of acid. And I'm drawing that up right now. And 2 milliliters of H2O. All right, so I will put that in here to start. So this is well number 3. For well number 2, we need 1.5 milliliters of acid and 1.5 milliliters of water. So we're diluting it down. And for well number 1, we just need 3 milliliters of acid. Okay, so we have different concentrations of acid. Now we're going to use the sodium acetate, and we're going to add 2 milliliters to each one of these, and we're going to time them. Okay, so we're going to start with 1. Okay, I'm going to drop the 2 milliliters. Okay, I was having trouble with this earlier. All right, so I'm going to start it. I'm going to start the watch, and then I'll put it down. All right. As soon as I add it, I'm going to start the watch. And we're going to let the watch run until we can't see that X anymore. And I'd say right about there. So for trial 1, under well number 1, which is right here, we're going to put 46.8 seconds. And we're going to put this aside. And now we can do well number 2. I need 2 more milliliters. reset my watch. And here we go. And I'd say right about there. So we're at 52.6 for well 2. And for our third one, it's about 58.8. All right, so now what we have to do is we have to do it all over again. So I'm going to pause here for a minute while I clean. Okay, so I've already refilled for our second trial. So we have wells 1, 2, and 3 refilled. And we are ready to start our second trial of changing the hydrochloric acid. So we're going to add 2 milliliters again. So this is number 1 again. And I got 46.3 this time. Well, number 2. And I got 52.8. Pretty good. And then our well number 3. I got about 55. Ooh, that wasn't very good. Oh well, 55.1. Okay, so that's my first 2 trials in my data table 1. Now I'm going to clean up and we're going to get set for data table number 2. So I'm going to pause you. Okay, so I've cleaned up and we're going to go ahead and start changing the concentration of the sodium acetate. All right, so I'm all cleaned up and we're basically going to do the exact opposite of what we just did. All right, so we need to go ahead and fill these. So we're going to start with 1 milliliter of the sodium acetate with 2 milliliters this is going to go in 3, and then we do half and half. And that goes in 2. And then we do all 3 milliliters. And we're going to add 2 milliliters of acid each time. So let me reset this. We're going to do number 1 first. And we're going to do the same thing. And I got 33.8 seconds. Well number 2. We got 61.8 seconds. And well number 3. Got about 94.8. Okay, so now we're going to redo it. So I'm going to pause you and I'm going to clean up and switch over and we'll do it again. Okay, so I've refilled them already. All right, so we're ready to go. All right, to do our second trial. So this is well number 1 again. Oops, I didn't reset. There we go. And we're going to add our So I got 32.5 this time. Well number 2. Well, 61.3. And then finally we have our last one. I got about 135 point, that's 95.9. And that's all of our trials. All right, I want to put this up here in case you didn't get it. All right. So now you're going to need to go back and calculate your averages from here. You're going to have to calculate your concentrations also, and be careful, right? Be careful when you're calculating these concentrations, because you're adding things together, so your volumes are changing. So be very careful in here. And then your rate is just going to be over seconds. Okay, so you can fill this out, and then you can do the rest of the lab. And this is going to be a typical lab write-up. And let's say we should probably have it due, let's say today is Thursday. Probably see this. Why don't we give you a week? So this will be due next Thursday. All right. If you have questions, please let me know. And good luck.